This is Tamatonga,
Tangaloa, and Hikuleo,
the Bullet Club, and you are listening to the Turnbuckle Throwbacks with Phil Raya and the Pain in the Ass Choppy on the Rant EM radio. And that's just too sweet.
What this network needs, this network gets. I promise you that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Broadcasting live from Shaolin, Staten Island, New York City.
Freak Show Central.
Where's that?
New York City.
It's the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast with Phil, Jay, and that pain in the ass, Choppy. On Rant EM Radio, proud member of the Shining Wizards Network and Dark Satellite Media.
Ain't nobody realer than Gorilla. Yeah, man. Konnichiwa, bitches.
Oh, big time, huh?
I'm telling you, man. I was so happy this morning, ladies.
You were just saying.
Oh man, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 386 of the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. What is it? What's today's date? The 12th?
Today is the
11th.
12th.
The 11th?
Oh, it's the 11th? It might be the 11th, actually.
I think it's the 11th.
It's the 11th.
All right. Of course, you know who I am. I am the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, your gracious host, and we are live on Rant EM Radio. We're live on YouTube and Facha de Libre. And my tag team partner this evening
Jay
is the one and only
Jay Cop. That's I'm telling you. The only thing that's missing right now is Choppy having his head down. Look at all I got. I'm telling you now, this is without a doubt became my favorite song, like wrestling wise. And it used to be like Cactus Jack's theme in WCW.
Oh yeah,
and with WCW,
Mr. Bang Bang.
Yep.
I would say hello to Miss Shaylin.
Fuck you!
Who's enjoying some arroz con gandules?
Hey now,
with mixed vegetables and some Moscato.
Ooh,
she's getting drunk and full of the belly. I still hate this theme, Jay. All right, conspicuous by his absence, our resident pain in the ass dupanada, Mr. Margassa.
Choppy's a pain in the ass.
Is stuck at work, and we didn't find out till about 7:00. So we'll get this done as soon as possible because Jay has to get up at the ass crack of dawn to go to work.
Yeah,
and
still dark out when I get up.
It's my everyday, dog.
Yeah,
I'm out of here at 6.
Oh, same here. But
I'm out of here like 5 to 6, whatever, and then my day ends at 7:00 at night. So
yeah, it's funny. You don't realize taking naps. I don't take it. Like my girl takes a nap. She'll take like a 3-hour nap. Like to me, I can't do that. Like I 20 minutes, I can get in, get out, and I'm good to go for the rest of the day. I didn't nap the other day. I must have been sleeping by about 8:30. I beat the kids to bed the other night, and the kids were going to bed. I just go, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. I'm going right to sleep.
Hello, Miss Fallon. my biggest problem is I have a hard time sleeping. I've been seeing a pulmonologist. I'm on the fucking machine. The problem is now is I go to sleep. I can't stay asleep.
Yeah.
That is the fucking problem. And they don't know what to do. And I'm like, I got to try some new shit. I just spoke to them last week. I got to try some new shit. But so like last night I come home and normally I go out after work on Thursday nights. And I was like, I had a really bad couple of days at work in terms of work. What's up, Tomas? How are you, brother? It's been a while. And I went home last night. So last night I got to work. I got to ride to the ferry last night because my boy lives in Battery Park.
Oh.
He drops me at the ferry. I got the 7:20 boat. That's a score 1. Score 2, when you get to St. George, there's one more express train before 8 o'clock that goes straight to fucking Great Kills in Eltingville.
Okay, yeah.
So I got that. So I got off the train. I got myself a nice big sandwich.
There you go.
From the bagel stuff. And I came home, I ate, and I passed out. But then I fucking woke up every hour. So I was up basically all night I was up. So I got up at 4:30 to watch New Japan. And we will get into that in a few minutes because I am so stoked about New Japan. My days have already been approved from work. I am not January 4th and 5th. I'll be on my fucking couch in my pajamas watching New Japan Pro Wrestling for Wrestle Kingdom. And so I can't go to sleep, and it's a deal. So now I usually go out after the show tonight. I go out on Friday nights. I'm not even going out tonight. I just need to fucking sleep. I'm gonna try to sleep and start my weekend tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be all right. But it's a deal. I understand, man. Being a grown up sucks too, man. Because like it's
this wasn't part of the literature when we were a kid.
No, there's no pamphlet. I was telling my friend that there's not. We didn't get the pamphlet. I didn't get that.
I didn't get that pamphlet.
I got the fucking Jesus Christo pamphlet when I was on a train. Or when the born agains, what do you call them? Not the Mormons, the Jehovah's. They come to your crib at 6 a.m. You answer the door with your underwear and a baseball bat.
Well, that's what I told you I picked my buddy up at like 3:15. So I was like yeah, I gotta wake up at 3. And you were like, oh, you gonna do the show? I was like, yeah, I'll do the show. I did it last week. I should be fine. I do normally like I've been taking a lot of Saturdays off, but last week I worked, and tomorrow I'll work. So
what you guys don't see on the camera is we have a special guest joining us tonight. Yeah. Mr. Augie is out. Augie never comes out.
He seems pretty much thrilled right now.
He's on the arm of the chair, just chilling next to Uncle Jay, because I guess he's finally used to Jay. It took him a couple of weeks. But he's just chilling. And I got to tell you, Augie's been, the older he gets, the more mushier he gets. So I come home. I'm out like 15 hours a day. So I come home and he needs my attention. He's like a child. So I got to do that for him. But yes, Choppy has the night off, unfortunately. But Jay and I got to do this. We got a fun pay-per-view tonight. We got a lot of cool news to get into. I opened the show up with a Brother Love segment from the mighty Zeus, who a tiny listener who passed away.
62 years old.
62 years old. Apparently, they found him unconscious. They called this. I didn't even know he was sick. My cousin Richie actually messaged me last night before Rob posted it.
Anybody seen Richie?
Anybody seen Richie tonight? Richie sent me the link, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa. And then by the time I went to go post it, Rob already posted on the group page.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I will say hello to Augie, and I will give him kisses from Fafa. I will. Yeah, Fafa came to see him the other night.
Oh, cool.
He just wasn't too keen on having company for some reason. He's old now.
He doesn't look too keen right now either.
Nah, he's chilling. He's actually like half asleep. He's got one eye on Jay, and he's like, "Don't move, Jay."
Yeah, I got you in my sights.
But yeah, so Tiny Lister passed away. I mean, this is a terrible year, man. Just terrible year.
Yeah, all in all, right? Just in the grand scheme of things.
Terrible year. I can't wait till December 31st, man. I'm telling you right now, December 31st, I am going to, right after work, I work till 7 o'clock. Wherever I'm going to be, I am going to just sit there with the biggest glass of whatever they're pouring me.
Yeah.
And be like, listen, just please, 21 be better.
It kind of has to be, right?
You know what, dude?
At this rate?
At this rate, I want to get out of the winter.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to get too political, but New York is shutting down again. And it's funny. It's a funny story because my barber's been doing house calls.
Yeah.
And I used to plug him in his shop on my Instagram page. I had the hashtag Fresh to Death Fridays, and my barber like, yo, Phil, you can't do that while I'm not in the shop because I can lose my license. I'm like, oh, no problem.
Yeah.
So for the last couple weeks, I haven't been plugging his shit. So I texted him yesterday to make sure he's coming today to cut, to shape me up, because he comes like, I do this every 2 weeks. So he was like, yes. Then he texted me. He's like, come to the shop tomorrow. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, we're open, but we're not open. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So now I'm saying to myself, great, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna get fucking raided. So I get there and there's a full shop and everybody's working. I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, yeah, they opened today.
Yeah.
At 12 o'clock to go this open. So I got a legit haircut today. It wasn't bootleg. Yeah, but they're shutting indoor dining down on Monday, and there's 2 vaccinations for COVID. One got approved. It's funny how Pfizer does the vaccination. They do, and it's apparently it gives you erectile dysfunction from what I'm hearing.
Really?
And they make Viagra too.
Well,
That's done on purpose.
That's
listen.
And
That's your conspiracy.
I listen. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem so crazy to think about that.
Listen, I never called you crazy. There's certain things as a healthcare provider, that I can't come to grips with in terms of conspiracy theories.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
No.
I am a conspiracy therapist. I get to the bottom of it. I want to talk about it. I want to make connections, and I want to make disconnections. That's what I always say about that stuff. But isn't that kind of coincidental, huh? How if it does, cause ED? But hey, by the way, we have a pill for you.
Yeah, you can take this pill. My concern was, and one of our British brothers, one of our UK brothers, Bazo, posted yesterday. His Yankee friends' opinions about this, and
they were having
that's why he posted.
Yeah, they were having some sort of.
So my thing was, I'm not. Here's the deal: if they make me do it, I'm gonna have to do it because I don't know anything else to do. Like,
let's just look at it objectively. Like, you're forced to take the flu shot. You're going to be forced to take this shot.
Now, if I'm forced to take the flu shot, now before we had to wear a mask. If I didn't want to wear a mask, I had to take the flu shot. I can back out of the flu shot, but I would have to sign a waiver and wear a mask all around the hospital. This is before masks were mandatory, right? So apparently, Zeus had the Rona. Shane said she said she read that. Yeah. So God, speaking of Double A's under the weather too. So give a shout out to Double A. He's not feeling well. I spoke to him a little while ago in a group text. So send Double A your love. He's under the weather with that stuff too. And so and I told Baz in the thread, I'm like, I'm worried about the long term effects, and I'm also worried about I don't know if I want to take it.
Yeah.
Because I read the trials and that one guy had in May, and he was like the worst 36 hours of his life.
Yeah, but
I'm not in the best of shape, so it's like for me, it doesn't work on. I heard a bunch of things today. I read that it gives erectile dysfunction, which I have no problem with, thank God. It doesn't work on fat people. Listen, all I know is that I'll take the 92 and the 94%. I'm not happy with it, and I told you this already.
Yeah.
I don't. But if I don't have to take it, I won't take it. If they make me take it, I have to take it, because then I'm out of a job, and I don't know anything else.
Well,
unless I go work at fucking Costco.
And it's funny because like I'm almost at the point now where I'm just kind of like over all of it anyway. So like, once again, not to try to get too far into.
No, I know.
But like me personally, like. I don't think I'm mandated. Not like you are.
No,
I'm not going to be.
You
mandated.
might be though. You might be. But they're saying that I don't know. It's just the city and the state can't come together. They're shutting schools. They're opening schools, which we don't like anyway. We hate it. You can't be like, and you said this a couple months ago too. You've been saying this for a couple weeks actually. You can't open and close every time something happens.
No,
there's no consistency, and it's like. and there's people that aren't making money, and money moves the world, especially here in New York.
Yeah.
And it's like when shit closes down, it's bad.
What you're doing, what you're saving medically, let's just hypothetically, speaking, gyms, there's, as far as I know, there's nothing traced back to them. We're all doing this contact tracing thing.
Right.
Outdoor dining, nothing is traced back to them. Granted, it's 40 fucking degrees here in New York, so who's eating and who's
55 degrees today.
Well,
and
today,
tomorrow.
yeah, but
It's insane.
today and tomorrow they'd be eating outside. But in general, we're in the winter here. For the most part, nothing's coming back to them. Indoor dining. If we're making accommodations, we can somehow or another beat it without closing people's businesses down. That's just I'm looking at it from that sense. And then the other sense of just going, because what you're doing is going to create such unrest. Like I can't imagine, I haven't been without a job in 17 years, basically.
I haven't been without a job since 1990.
I feel for these people that are forced to stay home. I'm not saying that now. If you choose to stay home, that's your business, and you have every right to do that. But if you're being forced to stay home, forced to not make money after opening up a restaurant that you've been dreaming of opening up for 25 years, you saved up and you finally have enough, and then you're forced to shut down and forced to gate up, and you can't pay the bills. That I don't agree with. And that's to me, it's a slippery slope type thing where we're giving in too much power, and this is not a left-right thing. This is a
human element thing. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
And granted, maybe Jay, you're not looking at the severity of the disease, and I was like, well, or the virus. I am, and that's going into account. But what the after effect? What happens after this virus, we get it contained or whatever happens.
My thing is, and I've told you this too, with the whole strain, like every year the flu shot has a different strain. I'm not comparing influenza to COVID, right? But like, how do we know that this thing isn't going to mutate?
It has to have
just
already
mutated. Right, just by the process of it. Like, so my thing is, what if I get inoculated with this double shot of the 92%, because I think 92% is Pfizer, 94% was Moderna,
yeah.
Right? So I was like, yo, man, what if I get this shot and like I ride the subway and I get it 6 months down the line from some
but it's still going to be, and then they're saying, well, I can get the vaccine, I'm vaccinated, but I could still carry it. So then it's just like, then why have the vaccine? Is it something that we all have to take, and then we're all not going to get sick? Like what's the end game here? There's really, once again, it goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. What do we really know?
and then what's up, boss? I just spoke about Double A.
Hope you feel
better, brother.
Hope you feel better.
We love you. So today, Time Magazine posted their next cover, which is Biden and Kamala Harris, and I don't have nothing against them, but like, if you're gonna put something on the cover, I think you should put people who work through this whole thing, not politicians, like civil service people, and for nurses, doctors, EMTs, paramedics, grocery store workers.
That doesn't
policemen.
That doesn't push ratings. That doesn't
that's
sell.
But I said that today. You know what? My thing is, Time Magazine doesn't have to.
Of course not.
Because they've been established for 100-something years. So if you take one for the fucking team and you give us a page, I understand what you're saying, but like, it's a slap to the face, man. I didn't stop working. You didn't stop working. No. We don't get hazard pay. We didn't get unemployment. They cut us that one check, and you know what that one check did? It paid for my fucking security for this new apartment. You know, so it's like my whole thing is that and again, this is not a political thing either, because it's just a human interest thing. Like, this country moves with essential workers. And then my friends are like, well, everybody's an essential worker. No, not the movie Usher. No disrespect. No, not the fucking, there's a couple people that work that aren't essential. I mean, not that the job isn't important.
Of course.
But I'm talking
I know what you're saying.
Like, shit don't move without me, man.
Yeah.
Shit don't move without you
What-
or our police officers or our firemen or, you know what I'm saying? Or our pharmacists and cashiers and fuel station people. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, and probably what I'm saying is probably more along the lines of, the movie Usher, it isn't essential in a sense, but that dude has a life. That dude,
He's essential to me because I love going to a movie.
yeah. Well, you know what I mean? Like, it's oh God, how do I I'm trying to say it without it's the idea of, I feel, this is just my opinion, and this will border on tinfoil hat type stuff. I feel the government wants us to not work and wants us to be dependent on them, and
so they can print more money and whatever. All right, the rumor saying stop talking about politics. Let's bring Bob Backlund on.
Oh yeah,
what's up, Mr. Kevin Joseph?
Listen,
Garifo?
we should be voting for Backlund. If Backlund
First
was
of all,
president,
if our fucking guests didn't keep tapping out, all right, Mr. Fucking
easy,
should we even say his name?
No, not yet,
because that motherfucker tapped out on us again tonight.
He might be coming on next week.
Yeah, he might be. Bullshit.
He's not coming on.
Bullshit. He can. Whatever. Lee Champion checking in. What's up, Lee from Baltimore?
I agree. Maybe we'll do a filatorial. We'll do a.
I'll do a
debate.
filatorial. I haven't done a
debate.
filatorial in a while. Maybe we'll do one over the Christmas break.
We'll do one over the Christmas break, and I'll come in and be the contrarian. But anyway, so we so then that's how we got started, was with Tiny Lister, Lister. But obviously known, to us wrestling fans as Zeus, Z Gangsta, in WCW.
Z Gangsta
is the war. What was it? The alliance against Hulkamania to end Hulkamania.
Well, I mean, this show started with the Tony's. He's like, no show tonight. Yeah, we're live, dude. We're on. Yeah. Go ahead.
But that's the he does. You have to admit, he does have I wouldn't say an important, foothold, but the no holds barred, like, to us fans.
No holds barred started this podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Bada bing. So
I mean, Mr. Brill was on the show. We open up with this network needs, this network gets.
Yeah.
I have a Zeus clip. I don't see.
He has like like I said, I guess maybe important might be the wrong word, but it's a prominent, because everybody knows him. And then of course he was an actor, and his who doesn't love Debo? Like, that's just
of course. You guys can hear us right on the chat, because Shining Woods is Tony's checking. He's saying he doesn't hear anything, but everybody else is here. Yeah, what's up there, Stickman? Stickman turned a big 5-0 the other day. He said chopping around the Christmas tree. Yeah. I mean, so it is a big loss to us,
Yeah.
Our cover page on the group page is Mr. Brill. Yeah. And Matty Legend gave us that little Turnbuckle Throwbacks podium for him.
But he, it's a shame what happened. I mean, it's funny because you think of it now in hindsight.
Tony's old.
What
We're
could
the
have?
same age, KG. Come on, bro. Get him.
But like,
I guess I'm old too.
how would you, like, real quick, we could do like a 5-minute fantasy warfare. Like, how would you keep, Zeus?
How would I keep him?
Yeah, how
far
would you-
away from the ring.
Well, if
Fucking
he
terrible.
if he was trained a little bit better, but like, you could have extended that a little bit, I think.
I mean, you could have put him with against Savage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of things you could have did with him.
Because you started
he
with
was-
Savage and then went,
Who's worse, him or Mr. T?
Ooh, and we're gonna talk about that
Oh,
later.
yes, we are.
Who was worse, Mr. T?
Starcade 94 tonight is the throwback, by
Yeah.
the way.
Mr. T was worse.
Mr. T was worse than Zeus.
Yeah, well, Mr. T in '85 was good, but Mr. T in '94 not so good. 1-800-1888 call ATT was not good.
Kev, we're the same age, brother. Maybe Tony acts older than I do. I have no idea. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, big loss, man. I mean, It just this year is terrible. Like I said in the beginning of the show, it's fucking terrible. Sweet setup. Thank you, Tony. It's a work in progress. Once we get the graphics on the gimmicks and all this other shit, I'll learn all that.
But let's get into the War Games recap.
It's the War Game. Yeah, get comfy, Jay. Tony says.
I know. I'm gonna start laying on the couch.
Yeah, because fucking Choppy's night. Choppy sits back on the couch. He doesn't even care about being on camera.
It's gonna become like a therapy session if I lay down right now.
Don't lay down on my couch. Augie's gonna leave. You gonna piss off Augie's on the other side of the couch.
He's not even looking. He's
like, fuck your couch. Fuck your couch. N-word.
Yeah.
All right. The War Games, if you will. What a fun pay-per-view.
What is it? What is it about NXT that differentiates them from WWE? Why is the NXT pay-per-view fun, and sometimes the WWE although Survivor Series wasn't as painful as pay-per-views past.
I mean, the big difference is you might do a little SummerSlam, no holds barred Christmas live watch along tomorrow to celebrate Zeus.
Ooh,
Zeus. I mean, I'm gonna have to chime in on that. What the difference I think between them and WWE right now with the different brands is that the emphasis is solely on the characters and the stories. There's and where Raw and SmackDown have the whole entertainment thing, and they have like the glitz and the glamour, and it's
that does kind of make sense.
Yeah. So, but I'm telling you right now, we'll get into NXT in a minute. And yesterday's episode was way better than AEW this week. But yeah, I enjoyed the War Games. It's my favorite gimmick. Everybody knows it. I was so happy that it was a good card. My son was here with me.
Cool. Yeah.
He knows I've educated him very well on the War Games from 87 to now. So let's go right into it. They opened it up with the women's match. Heart Nipples. What's her name? Shotzi Blackheart.
Shotzi Blackheart.
And
I love the fact that she shot the cannon at the fucking cage.
I love it.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's her, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, Shitlocker Shirai against Candice LeRae. Tony Storm has a nice little shitlocker on her.
Oh, yeah, Tony Storm's hot.
She can get it.
Juice Robinson is one lucky
He's hitting that?
Oh, yes.
Get out of here.
Juice Robinson.
We'll get into Juice today because he fought the finals of the World Tag League.
Juice Robinson is literally the greatest man on earth.
God bless him.
He's taken Austin Aries' gimmick as the greatest man on earth.
Tony Storm, Dakota Kai, and Choppy puts it, Puerto Rican China, even though she's Mexican, a.k.a. Raquel Gonzalez. This was good. Team Candice wins. We expected that though. But Moon hits the Eclipse on Kai on top of the two chairs. That was sick.
Yeah, there was a few good spots. And listen, these women got it done. And Shotzi Blackheart is just, I mean, she's just an animal in that ring. She was taking bumps like a fucking champ in there. Io Shirai, I liked the stuff with keeping her out of the ring originally, and
So you asked what the difference was. Tony said flying zipper heads and garbage cans. That's the difference. Where's Choppy? Oh, Chappelle's like, ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Jake.
Awesome.
Carry on.
I actually enjoyed that spot too, with her coming off the top with the garbage can on. Like that's
filling in for Choppy tonight is Tony Z.
Tony Z. That's actually that was actually a really, really awesome match. It was I was kind of, I guess, where else do you put it? That in my head, I was like, this is starting it off. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But basically, like, where else do you put it? You can't put it next to the men's. You can't, I mean, and the men's War Games was, was better, but it wasn't drastically better, but it was better in the sense of suspense.
Ciampa versus Thatcher was pretty good.
Love this.
That told a really good story.
Love this match,
and they're not done yet. I don't think.
No, they're not.
No.
Well, after NXT, Thatcher had a wicked cut. And
did you see what happened? Because he has the cauliflower ear.
That's what I thought it was.
And he broke. He probably just broke.
And it was on. I think it was on Ciampa's knee brace.
Giant Gonzalez for the win.
Gonzalez.
AKA Choppy calls her Puerto Rican China. She's Mexican.
But I love that match, and then especially that stare down after the match.
Oh yes.
You know, excellent. And you know what's funny? Because like you're wondering what they're trying to do with Ciampa, and like this is a good spot for him right now. You know, I like him going for the belt, but this is a really good placeholder for him right now.
Yeah, 100%. Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes in a strap match.
I like this match.
It wasn't bad.
I know you're not the biggest.
I'm not a big Dexter Lumis fan at all.
I really enjoyed this match.
What did you call him last week? Schlepshaw.
Schlepshaw. I love that.
Schlepshaw.
I really enjoyed this match. Cameron Grimes is slowly becoming one of my favorite guys because he's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, Choppy mentioned why they giving him this gimmick because he was really good in the Indies.
He was great as Trevor Lee, especially in PWG.
Yeah,
this dude was a fucking beast. I don't like the move, the double stomp. That's I don't think that's a good finisher per se. Because it's inconsistent. But him as a character and that country. I think he's from North Carolina or something like that. Like that country bumpkin, I like that character. I think he got a lot of legs in that thing.
I don't have a problem with it. I think he's annoying and I think he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the vignette with Karrion Kross with the vulture perching.
Awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
North American Championship, Leon Ruff defending against Punishment Margassa and Johnny Gargano.
I really like this match too. I thought this match was good. I like the fact once finally after Damian Priest got enough of Leon Ruff, like threw him through the boards or whatever, and I like that human reaction from him, like, oh man, like this just happened, like I didn't want that to happen, and then you thought Leon Ruff was going to be gone for the rest of the match and then come at the end, but he actually came back right away, which I think was a nice little play by whoever's writing it. Who's doing it? It's obviously Triple H, but Shawn Michaels, I'm assuming, and
I mean
Gargano's in the match, so Shawn Michaels is probably in charge of it.
Yeah.
But I liked it, and I love the ending. I love the ending, and the right man has the belt right now. I think.
And then, of course, the men's War Games. The Undisputed Era defeats the for the brand Burchin Lorcan, Pete Dunne, who's orange at this point because his tan was too bad.
He actually didn't look that orange on this one.
He looked pretty orange.
He settled a little bit.
High def your TV is. Mine's pretty defined.
He didn't look too orange on this one.
And of course, Pat McAfee. Now, I'm going to give Kevin some props from Shining Wizards. He was they were talking about the match the other day on their show. And he praised Pat McAfee, and I got it, and I have to agree that McAfee did everything he was supposed to do.
He did.
I forget about the spot. The spot was nice, but I think he, to this point, has done everything he's supposed to do without compromising himself of not being, or give him that stigma of not being a regular competitor. He's an athlete, obviously.
What I can. Although it makes sense because he's a professional athlete. So at first I was upset, like he shouldn't have kicked out of. I forget what move he kicked out of.
Okay, yeah, but
still. He has no. But then I thought of it afterwards. I just go, you know what? He is an athlete. At the end of the day, he's not a wrestler, but he is an athlete,
right?
So to me, I was just like, okay, and it, he didn't kick out of like a super. But it was just, I remember like seeing that, like, oh, somebody should have broke up the pin. That would have been a lot better. But I think you got to give him something though. So I got it afterwards. I remember at first that was one thing I said, but he did the perfect amount of stuff in that match. I think
Mario from the Barrio about to watch Animaniacs because you sold me on it. You should be watching Animaniacs, sir. Even though they're probably as old as you at this point. And how about Cross versus Punishment Margassa? Well, we gotta get into NXT in a minute.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Rob Domingo checking in. Doing flips and shit. Rob said McAfee is the best promo guy that the brand has, sadly.
Hands down.
You know what? And I think the emphasis, again, I wasn't sold on him because of how they brought him in. And not because I'm an Adam Cole mark, because I am. We all know I am. I don't think they should have presented him the way they presented him. They did clean it up well though by doing this.
Yes.
I 100%. So I thoroughly enjoyed him, and I thoroughly enjoyed my boys taking care of business. Thoroughly.
And it's funny because Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch were just stars in this match, and these guys were workhorses. And you can never say anything. Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly can literally, I can watch them wrestle every night of the week.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you missed NXT, right? And this week was speaking of that, Finn Balor comes out, cuts the promo. Then Pete, like, listen, forget about the team stuff, forget about the faction stuff. I'm back now.
Yeah.
And then Pete Dunne comes out. And then Kyle O'Reilly came out. And then Punishment Margassa came out.
Yeah, I like Kyle O'Reilly inserting himself in this.
And then Scarlett came out to remind the Prince that Carry On was coming back. And then the priest, and then Punishment Margassa taunted Scarlett, telling her man to pick his own fights. All right. And then, but it did, Dunn, O'Reilly, Priest, they're all going to fight for the right to at New Year's Evil,
which I like. I actually like that name.
Yeah, New Year's Evil, which is legitimately right after Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Let's see. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jake Atlas. No one cares.
Yeah, Swerve Scott got the L on that one. Which
the Grizzled Young Vets versus Imperium versus Everrise. This was a good match. The Vets won.
I'm excited for the Grizzly Young Vets to be in NXT, regular NXT.
I'm excited for the tag team division in NXT period because they got it's primed at this point.
And it's funny. I like the idea of Everrise being like these perennial jobbers, like they like the Dwayne Gill, Barry Horowitz of of NXT essentially. You know,
Io Shirai. Oh, Tony Storm was cutting a promo. They asked her why she turned. She told everybody why. And Io Shirai is like, I have no problem with you. I just don't like you. And the champ jumped her.
Yeah.
And then Ciampa versus Cameron Grimes. That was a good match.
Yeah. And then Thatcher came out.
Yes, Thatcher came out, shot him looking down. And then Gargano and Candice LeRae did a whole ceremony because now Austin Theory was with them, and
they're saying that he might be the guy underneath the.
He was.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was.
And then we didn't say that how Candice LeRae might have broke her wrist or broke her arm. Yeah, like that, and that was a hell of a.
I think Bobby Fish is hurt again too. He tore his triceps.
That poor guy.
He can't get it. Pete Dunne fought Killian Dane.
That's probably a good match.
It was a good match. Dunne wins by pinfall. Drake Maverick comes out, tries to help out, stops Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch from interfering. That he gets laid out. And then Puerto Rican China for Ember Moon. Puerto Rican China wins. She wants title shot.
Yeah.
And then
so going back to the Pete Dunne thing. So if Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch are coming out, so they still may keep together.
I don't think so because Pete Dunne now is going for the title.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be a thing. And then Priest gets jumped by Karrion Kross. Kross is now back.
Hell yeah.
So now you're looking at like this was so well done, this episode, and I enjoyed AEW, but it totally trumped AEW this week.
Yeah, and I think AEW was ahead in the ratings. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's what I thought I read, but even still, like from what you're saying, I'll watch it tomorrow. Now that's
you have to. AEW. Let's see. Young Bucks fought the Hybrid 2 in a non-title match.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
That was a pretty good match. They're telling the stories with who's the new guys they just signed? The Rascals. Who did they just sign? No, Rascals went to the E. Who's the Desmond Xavier and
they signed what's his face? Anthony Bowens and the other guy.
That's who they were messing with on the outside.
Yeah, and then what else? What else we got here? My screen is not okay. Let's see. Bucks versus the Hybrid. I saw that already. Sting comes out with Cody and on Anderson talk about Sting and whatever. Sting
said, I'm not here for you, but and then he kind of made a comment that
see you around, kid.
He pointed at Darby Allin, but then he's like, yeah, I'll see you around. I don't know. The first thing I thought of was the vigilante, are we gonna rehash? Is this the vigilante 2.0? It was great in WWE when he was, with Rollins and everything. What is that, 2016 or whatever it was? That was great, but we don't need to see it again, an AEW type thing. So I don't know. If he aligns himself with Darby, I ain't mad at that. Great promo with Team Taz though.
Oh yeah.
And did you see Taz's son all the way on the left?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What else here? Let's see. FTR versus the Varsity Blondes.
I love that, the Varsity Blondes.
Against Pillman Jr. and what's his name?
I always forget that cat's name.
Oh, I know you talk.
He's always on Dark.
Yeah,
that much I know. But
Griff Grimson, right? Yeah. Griff Garrison. Give Griff Garrison.
And I like to play on.
I like the Varsity Blondes. I dig it. I dig
like
it.
to play on it.
And
Brian
we saw Pillman.
Pillman Jr. is just a man.
Coming out to
he might
Jackson.
He might have the second greatest theme music I've ever heard in my life.
I'm telling you right now, one of the best nights we had last year was in Philly, and we're all sitting. It was myself, Fallon, Jay, Shining Wizards, Matt. There's a bunch of us there, and Liz Gorman was there. A bunch of us. And when he came out to Black Cat by Janet Jackson, Jay and I wouldn't even look at it. Jay and I turned at the same exact time, looked at each other like,
Black Cat?
Black Cat? And no one knew it but us. No one knew that but us. And I felt really good about that because I'm 10 years on. I got a decade on Jay.
Yeah.
But it was like that. We all the night home, on the way home, we're singing Black Cat. Anyway, but yeah, I like Pillman Jr. I think he's going to be a star. I feel
yeah,
and he needs some seasoning though. He needs some adobo.
He, and this was a good match. FTR, they gave him a lot, but FTR needed it, and it looks like they're going to start feuding with Jurassic Express. So I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah, Dark Order 10, number 10 took on Dustin Rhodes. Whatever.
Yeah, they're trying to get Dustin Rhodes in the Dark Order.
The Ultimate Circle, the Inner Circle's ultimatum. That was pretty funny.
It's it really does look as though like MJF, they're gonna jump on Jericho.
I think so.
I think, and I like it. I like the way that's heading. I really I think that's such a good thing. Even though we're kind of calling it in a sense, that would be a great way to book it.
Yeah. The Lucha Brothers, I know Penta is hurt. He's hurt now. The Lucha Brothers and Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston, the Butcher and the Blade. That was a good match.
Yeah.
Archer destroys everybody, which he should be.
Yeah.
He's Lance Archer.
I was upset not to see Pac, but you
will.
Yeah. I really want to see Pac against Eddie Kingston. That's what I really want to see.
You probably will. You probably will eventually.
Yeah.
Abaddon.
Yeah.
Who I think would be cute without the makeup because she got a big fat ass and big titties. Versus Tesha Price. She can go though. I mean, she's
Abaddon.
Yeah,
Abaddon can go.
Yeah. I want to see without the makeup though. I want to see some. She looks cute with that big dumper on her big titties.
She reminds me of what's her name from TNA? The one with the makeup. Sue Young.
Yeah. Of course, Kenny Omega speaks.
Yeah, Don Callis.
Yeah, and I watched Impact too. I was like, I was a little disappointed with the interview. I was like, all right, I see what's going on. I like the cross promoting. I like Tony Khan getting involved. But I don't know. And it takes away from the Elite, which bothers me a little bit more too, because I figured with the Bucks going heel at that point, and then when Kenny going heel, they bring the Elite back. Yeah, now Hangman Page is on the outside now.
Yeah, well, like I said, I like that. I like what they're doing with Hangman Page. It's a perfect redemption story coming in at us now. He was backstage. He looked like me in my 20s, just drunk all the time. But I like that story where they're gonna go with it because you could see it. It's him and Omega at some point. I know they just announced that they're gonna have I think it's gonna be Omega against Janela next week, and then if Janela wins, he gets a title shot. Which, I they got to give Janela something. He's obviously maybe he's not top guy, status, but he's up there. Like if you give this guy a chance, like he's up there.
Tony agrees with me, which is I'm not surprised because he should be. We're on the same wavelength. Impact interview was blah, and I agree. What and why? That's the thing.
Where do you go? Yeah,
right. I see where they're going with it. I thought the delivery sucked. I thought the whole
they built it up for such a
big
and Don
thing. Callis is like I don't know, man. He's a very good, smart wrestling guy, but when it comes to being a promo, he's like, eh.
Oh, I think he's a better.
It was a bad vibe, like and Josh Matthews didn't get to talk. They just abused him, which is pretty funny.
Yeah,
but in hindsight, it didn't like you said, it didn't deliver the way it should.
Well, maybe like I said, to me, from what I've seen of it, it was there was a lot promised about it. Listen, it is still new, and how often have we seen interpromotional stuff? We haven't seen it in quite some time. Like TNA and ROH did it perfectly.
No, I know, and ROH is having Final Battle.
Yeah,
and there's a couple of guys on the shelf already because of COVID.
Yeah,
so they have to change their whole card around. We'll get into that next week. We'll do the predictions next week. Because we're actually doing a little Christmas shindig while that's going on.
Yeah,
so we'll probably have it on the TV here. And then MJF versus Orange Cassidy for the Diamond Ring.
Yeah,
that was a fun match.
Like I said, MJF. He doesn't need the inner circle, but
no, we said that though.
Yeah, he doesn't need the inner circle. For him to, if that were to happen, if somehow or another he convinces everybody to turn on him, they did a little gimmick comedy spot. Hager's looking at Wardlow, going, "Why is he staring at me? Like,
what's he staring at me for?"
Yeah, like it's some bad comedy that didn't need to be there. But all in all, it wasn't. I like the match. I really like the match with MJF and
Orange Cassidy has done nothing wrong since he beat Jericho.
No,
since he beat Jericho in an orange juice match, whatever the fuck it was,
mimosa
madness,
mimosa,
whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And before we go to break,
New Japan.
So if you have not been following the World Tag League or the Best of the Super Juniors, you have been missing very, very good wrestling. Very insanely great wrestling. I can't stress enough how. So this was today was the finals, and we'll get into the whole card. Bad luck. I wanted Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens to win. They didn't win, obviously, but they teamed up with the Bone Soldiers. That Choppy's boy. They beat Yano, Show, and Robbie Eagles from Chaos. The Empire, which is Will Ospreay, Great O'Khan, and Jeff Cobb, defeated Okada, Tanahashi, and Toa Hanare. Okada is fighting Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. That was announced already.
Hey now,
yeah,
that's gonna be a great match.
Sonata almost lost his mind in this match. He teamed up with Shingo, and they fought Evil and Takahashi. Sonata and Evil are gonna have to settle this because since Evil turned, Sonata's been fucking obsessed with getting Evil like on the shelf. So they're probably gonna have to settle the differences soon. Kota Ibushi and Master Wato defeated Naito and Bushi. That was a pretty good match, actually. And your World Tag League Finals, Tamatanga Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, finally get their win against Finjuice. They avenged their loss from last year. And I was talking about this in pre-production with Jay. I cannot get enough of Dave Finley.
Yeah,
that kid is solid. He's a star, and I like him a lot. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Obviously, his dad was a really good worker too, but he is a star. He can even go on his own if he really wanted to. I think. You have to see it. It was really, really good. Now, the final of the Best of the Super Juniors. These guys don't like each other. Apparently, I don't know how true this is. Apparently, in real life, they don't like each other either. So the finals was the Time Bomb Takahashi taking on the man Desperado, El Desperado, and it was phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. Candidate for match of the year. At one point, Desperado unmasks out of anger. It was a great fucking story. And this is Takahashi's second win, by the way. He previously won it in 2018, I believe. And they're both multi-time tag champions. This marks the first time the world tournament was for the Gorillas, obviously, like I said before. And then earlier they noted that New Japan has announced their 49th anniversary show. It'll be at the Budokan, and the date has not yet been announced, but in the years past, it was held in March. So Wrestle Kingdom is coming.
2 days. 2
days. My vacation's been approved. Like I said, I am stoked. I'm telling you, today, this morning, set the tone for me for the rest of the year in terms of professional wrestling. This week, actually, between War Games, the NXT show, some of AEW, and the New Japan stuff. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Well, like you said, and now especially, I'm excited to see Okada against Ospreay.
That was his boy.
Because
he brought him in.
This is going to be 2021. Ospreay during quarantine has been getting jacked and heavyweight ready.
He's a full heel.
2021 is the year
of Ospreay.
The year of Ospreay.
I think you're right, Jay. I have to agree with you. And on top of that, he's got the dime piece on his arm now.
Priscilla Kelly, yeah.
He's got a crew. Jeff Cobb is a beast. Yep. He's got this great Okan looking dude. Looks like an extra from one of those kung fu movies from Saturday afternoons back in the day. Kung Fu Theater. I just call him Kung Fu Theater. It was an amazing match. That final though, I'm telling you, Jay, you have to watch this.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I told you what I was gonna do with my computer. Now that I finally have a computer and I stepped into 2020,
dude, I'm so proud of you. I mean, you had my computer for backup, and I had faith in you. I know you're not a tech savvy guy, but I got to tell you, man, you've been with us a year now, a little over a year, and you have embraced this entire thing. You got yourself a microphone, a mixer.
Yeah.
Now you got a computer, a better computer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. This is gonna be the year of the cop.
I can almost transfer files if I really sat down and figured it out.
And I want you to get to the point where I can take a fucking night off once in a while.
Yeah, I could do that.
I want Big Copper Pump to fucking host Turnbuckle Throwbacks. It's gonna happen in 2021. I promise you guys. It's gonna happen. Yeah, Mario, it's been a fun week. How long will it last? Dude, I don't care. If you get this, you get a little excited, you're a fan, it rejuvenates you a little bit. We're in shitty times right now. If you can get something quality on television that's not a sporting event, I'm with it, bro. I really am. Do I want it every week or more than once a month? Yes, obviously, yes, I do. But I got to tell you, man, we just have to have faith. Okay, when it comes to pro wrestling, you have to be optimistic because it's a different time right now. But you have options, which is great. Ring of Honor is back, MLW is back, New Japan, All Japan.
Yeah, MLW just announced they're doing the Opera Cup.
Yep, the Opera Cup, and I saw the Opera Cup last year.
Yeah, and it's gonna be
Davey Boy Smith won it.
They're gonna do it's Filthy Tom Lawler against ACH,
and ACH is in the Super J Cup. The tournament, and Takahashi when he won the Best of the Super Juniors, he challenged the winner of that.
Awesome.
So I'm telling you, this is good. It's a good time, man. Next couple of weeks, then we go right into fucking Royal Rumble. Choppy's birthday. Between now and the end of January, we're gonna have a good month of us, our network.
Yeah.
Our throwbacks, and then wrestling, man. AEW is getting better. NXT's on fire right now. And Tom Lawler's on fucking New Japan. He's in the US side.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories now. It's just, Double A just wants a replay of Wrestling Challenge or Worldwide. I don't blame you there, boss. I don't blame you there at all.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
That's some fun times too. I'm in a better mood. I haven't had the holiday spirit in the last couple of years. I have it. and our holiday shindig is next week. That's gonna be changed a little bit too because we're here. But we're still gonna have one. It's Starcade 30th anniversary. Very excited for that. And you might get a filatorial over the Christmas break. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do for.
Yeah, normally I throw you guys a bone once in a while, but I think I'm gonna discuss it with the boys and see how we're gonna do it. But it's good to be a fan right now. It really is. I'm sorry.
That's what we said when AEW started last year. We said now is the time for it to be a fan. But you know what? It's actually infused TNA of Impact. It infused ROH. This year and MLW, of course. MLW is just I think personally firing on all cylinders right now. It seems as though that Davey Boy Smith Jr. is on his way out of MLW.
That's the rumor, yeah.
And he could be bound for the E. I'd like to see him in NXT.
I like to see him in Japan.
Listen. That's where he'll never have another run like that. He needs to be in Japan. Him and Archer together, but to go back to that, like just all these companies right now are just feeling that adrenaline dump of going, oh, okay, this is what we need to do, and to keep it going, and everybody's doing their part, and hopefully come 2021 we can get fans back in the building, and I know, speaking for Phil, these fans will be back in some building at some point to see some sort of live wrestling and live music and live whatever, but hopefully come 2021, we could see some big stuff. I'd love to see New Japan come to the States again and finally see them live, and there's so many things now that we gotta, I want to cross off the bucket list.
I just want some normalcy back.
Yeah.
It everything that I do involves a crowd, extracurricular, whether it be a movie, a baseball game, hockey game, wrestling. Everything that I do involves a crowd. So I'm sad. I have plenty to do here. I have plenty to do here.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about that. And I do go out on during the weekends to go shopping and run errands and shit. So I do get some fresh air. But like Jay said, we would like to have 2021. I feel like it has to be better for us wrestling wise. And I think they're once the country gets in a better place, whether it's financially or this whole vaccine thing, or I don't want to get into politics again, but once we get into a scenario where we can start letting the public enjoy themselves again outside, then it'll be more exciting again. I know bands are already planning tours for next year, like in Europe and stuff, the festivals and some, so it's like we're anticipating the world to open up again. That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be. Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
So it's all about leaving that glass half full, not half empty. You have to have a little faith, and just keep on fucking supporting your scenes, man. Do what you got to do. Any other news before we go to break?
I think that's it, brother.
All right, so Jay and I are going to wet our whistles, take a quick break, and we have Starcade 94 for you tonight, which is a really fun pay-per-view. I haven't seen this since 94, by the way.
This was I remember this happening. I remember watching.
Oh, no, I remember. Oh, yeah, no, of course.
I'd never seen this. I never seen this pay-per-view ever, and I am better for it right now.
We are the Turnbuckle Throwbacks. We're live on The Rant. We're part of the Shining Wizards Network. We're part of Dark Satellite Media. Shout out to Jimmy Ferrari, Brooklyn Blast Furnace. He has Danny Lilker on. If you guys know anything about hardcore speed metal music, Danny Lilker is a Queens legend, SOD, Brutal Truth, bunch of bands. Check that out. The Wizards had a really good show on Monday. I mean, we're killing it right now.
Yep.
All networks are killing it. Please, The Rant had a good show on Tuesday. We're killing it. Inconclusive, fucking Midnight Jury. We're killing it right now. Two Suburbans and a hearse, as they say on the Funk Master Flex show. We're killing it. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we need to get you out of here so you can go to work tonight. And we'll be right back. Lord Alfred Hayes, take us to the break.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Okay, let's give this a try. The Shining Wizards is a funny wrestling podcast. No. The Shining Wizards is an insightful wrestling podcast. How about this? The Shining Wizards is a great wrestling podcast that airs live Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. Of course, it's available on all podcasting platforms. I think that covers it. To check us out, go over to shiningwizards.com and get ready to join us for some wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
I don't know. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in the rain.
In a world where Hollywood tries to tell you how to live while doing the exact opposite, where fresh ideas are tossed away for a cash grab reboot, where the media has become nothing but propaganda and freedom is traded for what they tell you is security and safety, there is Incompleted Breakdown, your weekly look at current events and entertainment with no political correct BS. Just news and uncensored opinions everywhere you get podcasts. A proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Horns up, beautiful motherfuckers. Radioactive Metal is here on the Shining Wizards Network, and we want you to listen.
Every week, we cover the world of heavy metal and speak to your favorite bands.
We discuss new releases, concerts, controversies, and everything else that's related to heavy metal.
And occasionally, we even talk about pro wrestling.
Catch us live every Thursday night on purerockradio.net.
Listen to past episodes at radioactivemetal.org or at shiningwizardsnetwork.com.
And remember, it's not metal unless it's radioactive metal.
Hey, this is Mike from the Midnight Jury. When you are done with this show, join my co-hosts Adam, Cal, Sydney, and I every Friday as we travel back to the last old school generation of the 80s and 90s to review the best and worst in pop culture, horror, and occasionally pro wrestling on WLWstudios.com or the Midnight Jury feeds on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Player FM. Go back in time when it was all about VHS, arcades, and hanging out at the mall. And remember that every second Saturday of the month, we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rant EM Radio, which includes taking your calls. Once again, that's the Midnight Jury on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, and our home, WLWstudios.com. We'll see you there.
Hey, wrestling fans, Mr. Technical here, Barry Horowitz, and you're listening to the Turnbuckle Throwbacks with Phil, Jay, and that pain in the friggin' ass Choppy.
He's American in the US of A. He's government inspected, he's US grade. If you mess with the flag, it's like a slap in his face. He's American made. He's American made.
Oh, yeah.
This is another underrated theme.
I knew you were going to say that. All right, we're back. Turnbuckle Throwbacks, episode 386, live on the Rant EM Radio, part of the Shining Wizards Network, part of Dark Satellite Media. We're live on Facebook, YouTube right now, and rantemradio.com. I'm going to play this out for Jay for a minute.
So Starcade 94. So we were throwing together a last second,
Yeah, because our guest fucking tapped out again. You want to do Throwback of the Week? You want to just play that real quick and get into it? Okay, let's do it.
And now, here is your Throwback of the Week, sponsored by the Shining Wizards Network and Rant EM Radio.
All right, let's go back to the 27th of December, 1994. World Championship Wrestling from the Municipal Auditorium in Country Music Nation, Nashville, Tennessee. 8,200 paid. We're talking about Starcade 94, the Triple Threat.
0.6 buy rate.
0.6 on the buy rate. And I'm pissed off because the fucking dark match was not aired.
I wish they would do that for the DVDs. When, not that they released, well, I guess they might have released Starcade 94 on VHS. But they should have did that because this would have been a good match to see.
Yes, Shaylin tapped out again. Yes. Yeah, he tapped out on this again. I'm going to let Choppy handle this. It's his baby. I have a lot to say about it. And it's a real fucked up situation. I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah, not well. Yeah,
he first of all, he lied to Choppy. He told him that he was stuck and he had power outage, but he wasn't even home. He was at an appearance in Long Island, and then basically lied to Choppy. And he was supposed to come back tonight. Told Choppy he was coming in, and then right after that, told Choppy, "Oh no, I gotta get up early tomorrow. I can't come on."
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? Fool me once, fool me twice. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let Choppy handle it because it's his baby.
Yeah.
But it's not going to deter what we're doing. So whatever. That's why I don't like having guests on the show because it's happened to me so many times. I remember one time Ashley Mazzaro was on the phone with me, literally minutes before the show. I'll just, give me 5 minutes. I'll call in. Never called in. never called back. So there's a couple of people that did that to us. I'm so over it.
Yeah,
whatever, man.
Well, like I said, so then we were talking about it really quick, and then what intrigued me to this was one, I'd never seen it. I remember, I was 9 or 10 when this was out, but what intrigued me,
I was a year out of high school.
What intrigued me was, a young Jean-Pierre Levesque.
Oh well, yeah, we'll get right into it, man.
So But
the dark match was the Stud Stable.
Yes.
Arn Anderson and Bunkhouse Buck versus the Armstrongs.
Bunkhouse Buck is an underrated goddamn performer. I feel like he does not get his just due sometimes.
He's been brought up a few times on the podcast. There's mixed feelings about Bunkhouse Buck.
I think he was first off, Colonel Robert Parker is just awesome. Everything about his character is just awesome.
Yo, Mott Spock, check it in. I would never stand you guys up.
No. We're going to be interviewing Mott Spock next week.
Yeah. Mr. Jockstrap Face is being a dick, Shaylin said. Get it? Jockstrap Face, dick. Anyway, go ahead, Jay.
And, but, to me, the Stud Stable was an excellent stable. I thought, mid '90s, in its box was really, really good, and I wish I would have loved to have seen that, and it made sense why we've seen Scott and Steve Armstrong later on.
Oh yeah,
at the end, I'm like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell is Steve Armstrong doing in the back with Hulk Hogan?
What the hell is he doing?
First off, well, anyway, we'll get to that part later.
Okay.
But I wish they would have played. I wish they would have played that. That match at least. But
I agree, Pon. I agree. But opening contest, Jay.
This first match.
Yes.
So let this set in really quick. You have Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Big Van Vader.
Duggan's your United States heavyweight champion.
He won it off of He won it off of
Steve Austin.
Steve Austin at Fall Brawl,
like 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, which is insane. So he's had the belt for a little bit. So now look at it on paper. What are you going to say about this match on paper?
I'm going to say this should be a squash match for Duggan in '94, right?
Yeah.
And again, I haven't seen this in 20 something years. So whatever it is, 94. So
is Duggan? So obviously Duggan leaves WWF around the same time as Hogan does. Is Duggan another one of Hogan's? Bring him in. Listen, Duggan's a household name.
Yeah, well, Duggan had a rep in Mid-South. So by the time he got to Vince, he was already fucking a grizzled veteran, no pun intended. So they didn't want him to be that hard rock hacksaw. They wanted him to be the tough guy, like, oh, they wanted him to be like
the cartoon
Americana.
character.
Yeah. So Duggan brought that to WCW, but when they made him U.S. champion, I'm like, all right. So now I'm busy at work, and I have this pay-per-view in the background on my computer at my desk, in my cubicle, and I'm glancing back at it, and I'm like, whoa. Rewind it again. I watched another spot. I'm like, whoa. And I watched the match twice. It's only 12 minutes long, right? And I'm like, this is a fantastic match. This may be, and I told Jay this in pre-production, this may be Jim Duggan's greatest match outside of Mid-South.
It's like
it trumps anything he did in the E in ring work.
It's like somehow or another they got a time machine. Said we need Duggan
83.
We need Duggan 83.
Right, yeah.
To show up for the one. He looked in great shape.
Yeah, he still. I mean,
he
was
looked
old
in
too.
great shape. Two, this match was great.
Yes.
And Vader and so now, as great as Hacksaw was in this match, firing up and doing the babyface stuff, Vader was an unbelievably selling for selling on the floor, and to me that was like the show of how good of a worker he was as a heel.
Yes.
And in that sense, and like I said, I mean, and all intents and purposes, Duggan's body slamming, Vader. Duggan at one point goes off the top rope for a fucking crossbody, like Duggan on the top rope.
Correct. This match, and I might get some shit for this from my Japanese contingency, but this match could have been a curtain jerker for All Japan Pro Wrestling in the mid '90s.
Yeah, I think that's.
This match could have opened one of their big cards with the Gaijin. Okay, I'm sorry. This was a fucking great, stiff match. I loved it. It was ridiculous. I was so happy about it, man. I was like, this. I had to play it back.
Yeah, and it was towards the end, Harley Race enters in, starts distracting the referee, and all of a sudden Vader gets the upper hand in some not so great tendencies, and all of a sudden Vader wins. And I think Vader was supposed to win. I would have rather Vader just won clean, and not that it really matters at this point, but this was a great match.
It was.
I remember saying it to myself, oh, Vader versus Duggan. I'm like, oh, Duggan, but Duggan has 3 moves that we know of: the knee drop, the 3-point stance, and punches.
Body slam. You got a nice body slam.
Oh, a body slam. But this was a great match. This was absolutely a great match. I was very surprised by it. And
did you see the Mid-South DVD?
No, I wish I did.
No, I have it.
You have it?
But you have a Blu-ray player? I don't even know if you have a Blu-ray player. Do you have one?
No. I have a PS something, but it's not hooked up.
So when you have the technology, it's sitting over there. I'll lend it to you.
Yeah.
I finally got it back from Choppy.
Mm-hmm.
You would definitely enjoy the Mid-South stuff.
I love Mid-South.
Oh yeah, you definitely enjoy
stuff
it.
I've seen on YouTube and everything.
Oh yeah, you definitely enjoy it.
I don't know too much about Duggan's, 83. I know
The
a little
Rat
bit later.
Pack. Yeah, him, Matt Bourne, Ted DiBiase.
I know a little bit later than that.
Oh, good stuff, man. Bill Watts had a good thing going on over there. All right, your next match, Jay?
young John Paul Levesque versus a very young Alex Wright. Both their pay-per-view debuts.
18 years old, Alex Wright.
Yeah, and I think Triple H is 23.
Yeah,
at
about
this
that. He's in his
point,
early
22,
20s. He's in his early
23.
20s.
And and
Das Wunderkind.
This was the gigolo dancer that he was, sitting there dancing on the, I had to show Taylor. I was like, look at this. So then I showed it because it was Triple H originally. She goes, "Oh my God." I was like, "Yep."
Yeah. Yep.
But this was a really good
I
match.
think this match went too long.
It was definitely a little too long.
14 minutes.
They were they were trying to, forecast, Alex Wright and everything, and he was like,
he was a big deal. They brought him in from Germany.
They brought him in but it's like for this match, Triple H looked great in this match. He looked lean.
He wasn't bodybuilding yet. He was bodybuilding, but not like that.
Yeah, he looked super lean, crisp in the ring, and Triple H at one point delivered a dropkick, which I've never seen him deliver a dropkick ever. And
the bigger he got, the less he left his feet. 100%.
But you could see how crisp he was in the ring in '94. And he was part. He got trained. Triple H got trained by Killer Kowalski, correct?
He most certainly did.
Yeah, and you could see the Harley Race tendencies in there. Like, so it was this match was like a little old school. Maybe a little too old school, like you said, a little 14 minutes, maybe a little too long or what have you. But it still was pretty good. For me, if you're showcasing Alex Wright as his newcomer, and he squeaks out a victory, I don't get that booking per se.
This match,
I get he's a rookie.
This match was solely to put him over.
Yeah. But like, you do it in the sense of, here's our new babyface and he barely wins. Like essentially that's how it comes across.
Well, I think to play devil's advocate, I feel like because he was so young, they emphasized how young he was.
Yeah.
So they're going to make him work for it. He's not going to come in here and be like, "Oh, this 18-year-old this 18-year-old phenom." He's not going to come in and start beating guys left and right.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, they had mid-card guys, but most of them were involved in tonight's matches.
Yeah.
So they didn't have an abundance of. You have to understand something. This is not even a year into Hogan's run in WCW. They're making that transition. Bischoff was starting to produce. They started making moves. They got Savage. They brought the Nasty Boys in. They started getting like the Faces of Fear and all those shit.
The tag team of the year.
Tag team of the. We'll get into that in a minute. But like this is WCW is going through a transition right now. So it's Nick Bockwinkel's the fucking general, the commissioner. I love Bockwinkel anyway, but it's just weird seeing him there.
It's weird seeing him as a babyface.
Him and Hogan were adversaries.
It's weird seeing him as a babyface.
Yeah, Nick Bockwinkel was never a babyface. not to my knowledge, anyway.
Nick Bockwinkel should never be a babyface.
He should have been like an evil Jack Tunney,
Yeah.
On as Tony C would say, on the take Tunney. But yeah, man. So I was, I don't know. I enjoyed the match because like I said, we're looking at these matches now with rose glasses
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
Because we know more about these guys now, and it's like,
well, that's what and that was why I jumped on this. I was like, oh, his only pay-per-view in WCW history, Triple H. I was like, oh fuck, let's just watch this one.
And we're both musicians. How many times have you heard like a song from a band and or a couple of songs from a band that's not really in your rotation, and you're like, and the older you get, you're like, wow, I really like Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
Oh, wait a minute, I really love Molly Hatchet.
Yeah,
but and I really like Paul Levesque and Alex Wright and whatever, right? And it's like this is one of the reasons why I do the podcast.
Well, it's even. I'll even go deeper than that. Like, it's like, oh, I really do like '90s WCW.
Yes,
as
bad as it was, because it was an alternative. It was hot.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, not buy rates, but it was the best television that they had.
Yeah.
TNT,
Well,
TBS.
listen, like you said, Saturday 6:05. Like as I was 9 at this point.
I mean, at that point, Turner was on all cylinders, man. The Braves were doing well.
Yeah, Braves were winning.
The Atlanta Hawks were okay.
Coming off winning.
Yeah. And WCW.
Yep.
And we're only 3 years into the Turner era.
Yeah. But
technically.
Like you said, they just signed Hogan. They're in the midst of making moves, and you could see that they're doing the right thing. They're showcasing Triple H here. He was brand new. Alex Wright, super brand new.
And he wound up staying with the company till they close.
For the most part, yeah.
He retired in 2001, I think.
I think he started wrestling fairly recently again. I think before,
probably in Germany.
Yeah, before. I don't think he came.
I think he has a school too.
Yeah, I think he started wrestling again, but you could see that WCW was trying something here. They were trying to start going forward a little bit.
Yes.
And I got a little bit more to say about the Hulk Hogan era, but at this point they were starting to put the pieces together, which you could see was working. And but yeah, otherwise Alex Wright, gets the roll up for the win, and that's it. He gets the, what did he say? He gets the victor's purse. What is it?
Bobby Heenan was great. Him and Tony Schiavone on the stick.
Yeah.
Mean Gene doing the backstage stuff. It was interesting.
It was very interesting. This next match was, you could see. So first off, Johnny B. Bad's coming out in the third match. He's not starting off a pay-per-view, which is completely unlike.
He was always the curtain jerker. Yeah,
always the curtain jerker.
But now he's television champion.
And all of a sudden, Arn Anderson's coming out, and then they go, wait, that's not. What is he doing here? Like Honky Tonk Man got fired hours earlier because he didn't want to put over Johnny B. Bad or whatever.
Fuck him. Yeah, it makes sense because he's a dick.
Yeah, exactly. So and this is better. This was a great match. I like this match too.
Well, yeah. Johnny Bad, another guy I wasn't very fond of. However, between this stuff and then 2 years later as Mark Merrow, you could tell he was a really good performer. But you're with probably the greatest television champion of all time.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's my favorite title. And Colonel Parker, well, with Ming looking like a fucking, like I don't know, like the bouncer you see at the titty bar, you know, the back bouncer though, not the front bouncer.
Yeah. This is the guy that handles business.
This is the guy that you don't see he's the guy that I call when I'm working the front door that helps me throw guys out. That's the guy. That's the guy. When I worked in the strip club, I had a couple of Mings in my fucking camp.
But Johnny B. Bad, I was thinking about this, and what is it about him that just didn't connect? Obviously, the gimmick wasn't the best gimmick. That I get.
The gimmick to me was okay. Little Richard. We all know the story.
Mm-hmm.
He was a closet homosexual. Was an amazing musician, and at the time was going through segregation because A, he was black, B, he was gay, and C, rock and roll was looked down upon. So he was doing shit for Elvis. Him and Chuck Berry were they were doing shit that Elvis started doing after he did because it was cool, right? So they put this on a wrestler. Johnny Bad never said he was gay. He just acted gay. Right, he wore makeup, and he was a legit. This is a shoot. He was a legit boxer. He was a professional boxer, and he was in good shape,
great shape,
and he wasn't a bad performer. For me, it didn't connect because he never really that's a character that you want to put a story on. They never wrote anything good for him.
Well, like you said, that's a good stock character. This is what I was saying was it's a great stock character, the Johnny B. Bad, and then just one day have him come out like he loses a few matches, and then he just shakes that persona and just goes into how he was in W. Listen, he was signed by WWF, a few years later, 2 years later by this point, and not for nothing, they didn't do shit with him either. but he was he could talk on the mic, had a great look, can legit handle himself. Was a boxer. He had charisma for days.
Yeah.
So like this guy, he can do moves off the top rope. He used to do a shooting star press. Like he could do.
It was good.
He
Yeah.
could do everything, and it was just. I think, like I said, it comes down to like a timing type thing. But to me, I said it. I was like, why wasn't he? Obviously, he was always curtain jerking for every pay per view. It seemed like we always make that joke about Johnny B. Bad, but this match was good, and obviously Arn Anderson's carrying the match because who better to have a fucking match with than Arn Anderson?
Even if he was a bad wrestler, Arn will make him look good.
Oh yeah,
but he wasn't. He was a solid performer.
There's that famous story. I don't think it was this match. I was looking for it in this match, but I don't think it was this one where. They were talking about Mark Merrill's punches, like his work punches were connecting.
Oh, okay.
And Arn says, he goes, do me a favor, can you punch me in the face? Because your work punches suck. Or your work punches hurt or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
I think it's his character didn't connect. He was a good performer. Like I don't
listen, he was sidled with a bad character.
Yeah.
But he got it over. The crowd went crazy. Like, he was throwing frisbees out to the crowd. He had the confetti gun. Like the guy was over.
Yeah, no, he had a mouthpiece for a little while. He had Teddy Long for a little while.
Yeah. So like to me, it is funny to think about how this guy he proverbial checks a lot of boxes. Like, and that was all of them, for the most part.
Yeah, so he retains against Arn Anderson, 11-21.
I think this was a great match.
No, I think it was fantastic. And I just, again, I'll say this a lot during these throwbacks. It's one of those guys that you don't appreciate until.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because his King of the Ring match with Austin, that for me was my favorite Mark Merrill match because A, it made Steve Austin, and B, Mark took a beating, and he worked well.
Yeah,
he worked well. He took a beating and he worked well for that tournament. So like he was a good solid performer. I just think that persona was not cool at all. So, all right, I know you have a lot to say about this next match.
And just one more thing about Mark Merrill, and he's got to be the greatest salesman ever because literally he married Sable.
Yeah,
that guy's a good salesman as well.
Yeah.
So. But the next match, the 1994 Tag Team of the Year, which, by the way, come on.
So
what the fuck?
So there was a Bill Apter press conference.
Yeah, we skipped over
it was twice. Jimmy Hart gets Manager of the Year. Hulk Hogan gets Wrestler of the Year. Sting gets Most Popular Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah.
And the Nasty Boys win Tag Team of the Year. Now, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, to this day, still a publication. At times, very biased towards whoever was main focus on television at that point. So WCW was trumping WWF at this point
because of Hogan,
right? Because of Hogan and all the listen. How many times the Road Warriors went Tag Team of the Year? Meanwhile, the British Bulldogs were around, Demolition was around, and the Midnight Express. Listen, the Road Warriors are my favorite tag team of all time. They're not the best tag team of all time.
No.
Okay. But they kept winning it every year.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the Nasty Boys won it. Number 2 was the Head Shrinkers, which is come on. That's and then number 3 was Rock and Roll Express. Like,
but and Jay's like, where's the Steiner Brothers?
Where's the Steiner Brothers?
Right.
And granted, I know they're in between. They just left. I think they left WWF early '94 because they were in Survivor Series '93.
Right.
So then they leave WWF, and then they make their way back to WCW. They're in Japan at this point, so it's not, they did the run through in ECW, '94. So like
I was there for that.
They're around
when they helped Taz out,
But to me, how I surmised it, you got Hogan winning Wrestler of the Year, which, by the way, he was number 2 that year because Bret Hart was number 1, and however you want to, I guess categorize it, like Bret Hart was the number one wrestler that year. You know,
Yeah.
his feud with Owen Hart, he drew. Well, maybe I can't say he drew more money. I don't know if that's fair to say. That's probably not right to say. He had more matches. He I guess you would have to look at. Well, I mean, listen, Hogan only had what 3 or 4 pay-per-view matches that year,
Right.
you know, and Bret had WrestleMania 10. He had the SummerSlam, you know, that year. Survivor Series 94. What did he do? He fought Bob Backlund that year. So, like, you know, you can make the argument that he drew that year. You know, he was a mainstay and he was a mainstay in the Royal Rumble. Yeah, so I guess you can make the argument.
Right.
To me, it was like, oh, here's a wrestler of the year, and it's just like, wait, but he wasn't. Like Bill Apter, like, you know, you're a journalist here, man. Like, you're supposed to stand by the truth. That's that's my look on it, you know. Like, but so obviously WCW cut him a nice fucking check, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, and then the same thing, the manager of the year, it just seemed like it was just like Hogan's. It just seemed like it just screamed of Hogan's friends. You know, it's, you know, you got Hogan's heroes, like this is gonna be Hogan's friends. You know, and you could see it all over the pay-per-view too.
Right. So, you know, again, like I'm not a big, you guys know I'm not a big Nasty Boys fan at all. And we all know Brian Knobbs was Hogan's boy. Another reason why they were there.
Yeah.
I'll give the Nasty Boys one thing. Okay. They could basically work with anybody.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not a fan. I'm not. But I'll give them their credit. I just wasn't a fan of them at all. I just didn't like them. But looking back, they rolled with everybody.
Yeah.
They fought even in the AWA. You know, they fought every team. In the WWF, they fought the Hart Foundation. They fought the Legion of Doom. They fought the Beverly Brothers, the Natural Disasters, Money Inc. So and then over here it was, you know,
Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat. Now Harlem Heat was coming into their own. They're not Cole and Kane anymore. They're Booker T and Stevie Ray. They're about just like a year in now, and they have Sister Sherry. Sherry Martel was a great mouthpiece, great women's manager.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan said it the best. She was probably the toughest person in that contest, and she was in wrestling. So this was, I mean, this is just a brawl. This was a brawl. This wasn't technical. All these guys can work. Stevie Ray, I like young Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
This was Stevie Ray's coming out party for me, I think. I mean, his run with the NWO was okay. Him and Booker T won a bunch of tag team titles after this. They were like 10-time tag team champions at one point, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
At this point?
I'm getting after that.
Yeah.
Tag team. I'm sorry,
10 times, yeah.
Yeah. So this was the start of Harlem Heat. And if they're going to put the Harlem Heat over as the young guys, you know, or have them fight somebody with some credibility, the Nasty Boys do have the credibility.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Correct. So this was just a knockdown, drag out, almost 18-minute just brawl. Really, really, it was okay. I wasn't disappointed with this match.
I wasn't either. And that's the funny thing about the Nasty Boys, like you said, they can work with everybody and anybody, but you have to. 18 minutes for a Nasty Boys match is a tad long.
It is,
you know,
but it's Harlem Heat.
Yeah, so like thankfully, you know, Harlem Heat still fairly they're fairly new in the business, you know. But to me, like this match was good.
Yeah, I agree.
I was such a big fan of. I was still like probably riding the high off of the Vader and Duggan match that I was like, but even like I might have just like overseen this match. This match was all right, you know, but I was still like, at this point, I'm on the computer, like, how were they the tag team of the year? Like, who the fuck is around that these guys are the tag team? That's what I was fixated on.
She sounds like me now.
I couldn't, like, I was just like, there's nobody else around. Like, I'm sorry, like. Where's the Rock and Roll Express? Does Hoot have a broken leg or something? And he's been out? Like and then like reading about it, like the head shrinkers are number 2, and then as soon as you said it, you were just like, oh, they head shrinkers are number 2. They're the number 2 team in the fucking world.
Shining Edward Jackson's checking in. No, Eddie, that's not Mega Powers. He referring to Jay.
Oh,
I guess Eddie hasn't listened in a year, but Jay's been with us for a year, and Choppy has the night off. So
yeah.
What's up, Eddie? How are you, sir?
I look like a lot of people. I get that a lot.
You're a fucking doppelganger.
I am. I'm not even my own doppelganger. But
I always look like somebody's fat uncle. So it's like, hey, aren't you so and so? I'm like, no, you're my fat Uncle Vinny, right? No. I probably fucked his mom though, or whatever. But anyway, that's another story. All right, this next match annoyed my fucking life. So Kevin Sullivan now is the booker. He's the main heel of the company at this point. And he just started the Faces of Fear with the Butcher and Avalanche.
Yeah.
And he fights Mr. T because him and T have history.
Yeah. Well, because it was Halloween Havoc or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
But why is Mr. T wearing the referee gear?
Because he was the referee in that match, and
right, but
clearly hasn't showered in 2 months.
He left his ring gear at home. Did Hogan didn't have anything in his travel bag for him?
Did you? He didn't look like he was in ring gear shape. It looked like he had to wear something like he was wearing.
I don't know, but
judging by the wind that was in his lungs, clearly about after 30 seconds, this match was what 3? What do I got? 3:49. I'm going to say around 25 seconds into this match, Mr. T was already dead.
He was winded. He was gassed, as they say in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to give props to Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
He made Mr. T in the first 5 minutes of this match, first minute and a half of this match, look like a million.
Oh, T was throwing punches. Yeah.
He was throwing punches, and Sullivan was eating them. And then that awkward whip to the corner. I was like, oh no. And I just, every time Mr. T did something offensively outside of a punch, I cringed. I absolutely cringed. I was like, oh man, this is awful.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to react. I was like, oh, come on, man. Like Mr. T, I'm like, oh.
And then we had Santa Claus coming to the ring,
which was Evad Sullivan.
Yeah. The Equalizer.
The Equalizer. Evad.
But I did like after the match,
Sullivan, let me tell you something. He ate that shot though.
Yeah.
He walloped him with that bag.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
And Kevin Sullivan is
a fucking genius. Yeah, let's be honest here.
I have to admit, I just found out recently he has a podcast. I didn't know about this.
I didn't know about that.
He has a podcast. It's Taskmaster Talk or something like that.
No,
and he talks
God.
about 90s, and he talks about 90s WCW.
Oh, we got to get him on the show, man.
He is not enough could be said about him.
Right.
Work wise, because then you think about the stuff with him in '96 with Benoit, and Sullivan at that point is not an advanced age, but he's up there, and
he has the book.
He's still getting it done, and we've seen a lot of Kevin Sullivan in this pay-per-view. I think the only person we've seen more than Kevin Sullivan was fucking Jimmy Hart.
You see Kevin Sullivan's influence the next 2 years.
Yeah, big time.
So
big fucking time.
He was making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Well, he has the right idea of the whole idea is the heels have to win sometimes because you got to get people back in the fucking building.
I think I told you guys I got a Dusty shoot for Christmas from Shining Wizards. Tony, was it last year, the year before? And it was Sullivan, it was Baby Doll, and it was Ivan Koloff with Steve Carino.
Okay.
Doing like Dusty, and just hearing Sullivan talk, it's just, I have like 3 hours of him. I have a Florida Championship Wrestling DVD of him on MP4. Like his stuff in Florida was so good, dude. Like, and we've talked about Kevin Sullivan on the show a million times. But you could see what he's trying to do. Looking at it now, again,
yes.
like that, knowing what we know now about him, about the business or whatever. I'm not mad at. I can't be mad at with Mr. T.
No,
I put it, and this is all him. Like this is him writing stories, and it's like anybody would benefit from having that kind of brain.
Well, it's a 50-50 shot. It's like, hey, you can get a lot of mainstream media attention with this, but it just went the other way. That's all it was. Like he wasn't trying to relive 85.
No, but
it wasn't. He was just like, hey, listen, let me try to get something.
First of all, it helps that you had the most popular person in wrestling on your roster. That helped.
Yep.
It also helped that you had the second best wrestler, the second most popular wrestler at that point, which is Savage.
Yep.
And it also helped that you had Turner money.
Yes.
So it's like so you want to bring a Mr. T in or somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So
trying to turn some heads. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, now that
it makes sense.
Is it great? No. Is it? It's passable because of what it was. It's 1994 for Christ's sake.
And that's the only way that Mr. T should be able to win this match is through the shenanigans of fucking Evad and all this stuff.
Listen, let's be honest. The best thing in 94 on television between them and the E was that fucking ladder match at WrestleMania.
Oh, hands down. That was it.
But for me, it was the beginning of ECW because we got that winter.
Yeah.
That winter was the beginning of ECW
Mhm.
on MSG. So now the tides change, But this was. I got to give props to Kevin.
It was
Sullivan.
passable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along.
Avalanche.
The Avalanche, the second face of fear versus Sting. Listen,
Tenta at this point, 31 years old.
Yeah, looking like he's 51.
Just amazes me to think that.
If he would have stayed in Japan, honestly, he would have been bigger than fucking than Vader, Hansen, Bigelow.
That's a bold statement.
He was that good.
That is a bold
he
statement.
is. I'm telling you.
Oh, he's every bit of good.
I didn't say he was better as a wrestler. He was so over.
He's never. There's no way. Stan Hansen over.
I'm telling you, if he would have stayed, he didn't stay.
He didn't.
And he was also young. Stan Hansen was already there 10 years at that point.
But
I'm talking
there's no way.
I'm telling you, because all those guys were old at that point. If he would have went to Japan right at that time.
Yeah, but Hansen was still over there in 90 and 91.
This is 94 we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but even 94, he was still over there.
Yeah, he was there for a couple more years. But it was like, I'm telling you, if he would have stayed in Japan. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, he's
not as over. I mean, he would be,
they love
Scott Norton over. I would say Scott Norton over, and Norton was over.
Norton was over, but he was more of a tag team wrestler anyway.
But he was over.
Yeah, I know, but he was an attraction.
Wasn't Scott Norton the IWGP champion?
He was, but he was better a tag team wrestler.
Yeah,
at that point, he had a couple of good tag team partners. But anyway, I if you watch his old Japan stuff, I'm telling you, it's
he's great. I'm not
throwing fucking drop kicks.
I am not short selling him at all.
I mean, he was so good in Japan.
I'm just saying that's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying because Stan Hansen's one of my favorite wrestlers, so
yeah,
it's for me to say that. Yeah, Sting, still Sting, man.
Yeah,
Sting was, and again, another guy like John Tenta. Now we know what we know. It was a good match.
Yeah, this was a good match, and it went a long time, which was for Earthquake Tenta, it was nothing out of the ordinary. But in the States side, it was out of the ordinary because he's used to squashing guys. Excuse me. So for Stinger, he really got a good match out of him, and they played into the fact. Even like when Sting finally did body slam him, God, Tenta can literally just go up for anybody. I'm
telling you, man.
I know. I am nowhere near short selling him.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this guy is good, man.
Yeah, and and like I said, the fact that he's 31 years old, it's just that blows my mind. But
he's got that Hogan syndrome where he didn't do much in the States; he did more in Japan.
Yeah, I have I like the match. The ref bump was just hideous.
Oh, yeah.
The ref bump was hideous.
Of course.
Different, yes, I get it, but it was just hideous. I do have a problem though at the end of the match.
Okay, go ahead. Get right into it.
Hogan coming out for the save. Now, I always used to say this about Cena, how like Cena never saved anybody ever, for some reason, Hogan coming out didn't make sense to me because here's Hogan. He's your attraction. He's there for the last match. He has this blood feud. Obviously, he has the feud, an underlying feud with Sullivan. So it makes sense that he did come out. But once again, retrospectively, it doesn't make sense. I would have rather have had Savage come out.
You couldn't though because no one knew what Savage's allegiance was.
But I'm gonna. But that's exactly it. You muddy the water even more because he's gonna come out and save Sting, and then he's gonna come out and then all of a sudden, even using the last part of the last match where he fake aligns with Sullivan, like you can even do that and go, holy shit, then why did he save Sting? Like he really does hate Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Like
okay,
that's the way I looked at it. Like to me,
you.
Savage coming out would have made more sense than Hogan. Like Hogan coming out, all of a sudden, you've seen everybody you needed to see for the night. You don't need to. I mean, who's the only person you haven't seen yet? Fucking Brutus Beefcake.
Don't get me started. I have
you know what I mean? Like to me, I that's just like one thing that like past fantasy book. Like that's the way I would. It makes sense in a sense, for Hogan to come out because the feud with Sullivan.
But you would have mixed it up with having Savage come out.
I would have liked
and throw a monkey wrench in everybody's
just leave and then leave because Hogan's got to get that big. Because now all of a sudden Hogan comes out. There's your big pop. Now for your main event, you ain't got the big pop because you've already seen him. I'm maybe I'm looking at it too constructively, but
you're entitled.
But to me, that's the way I would have done it, and but I love the match. I love the match with Sting. Surfer Sting is you'll never go wrong with him. Just crowd is just bananas for him
always. And he said it in the press conference when he won his little award. He goes, "I'm the glue in WCW. I'm the most popular guy." He goes, "I've been here. I feel like I've grown with them." And let's be honest, since 1987, 88, he's been there. So
100% right. And
at that point,
and even though that little fucking lying cheat Bill Apter, giving him an award.
Oh, I love it.
God, and that's funny because I love Bill Apter too.
He's such a nice guy.
I love Bill Apter.
He's such a nice guy.
Why'd you give in?
We see every time we talk to him
he's amazing. He really is amazing.
He's such a nice. He used to come to our table all the time and talk to us at the convention.
He's an amazing. He's a
cool dude.
There's one book I want to read too.
He did so much for wrestling. Yeah.
But and so sidebar, like the Pro Wrestling Illustrated has been going around since the 70s.
Well, longer than that.
Is it longer than that? Oh, I know it was the 70s. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I once in a while, I was still in Walmart. I'll still grab one.
I don't want to. But I hate that revisionist, sense of history. Like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not. WWF doesn't want to answer my call, so here, Hogan, you're the rest of the year. But meanwhile, clearly Bret Hart was the rest of the year in your magazine.
Shaylin said Mr. Power Strip going off on Bill Apter. Mr. Power Strip. Oh, shit.
I love Bill Apter. Just
who doesn't love Bill Apter?
I love Bill Apter. Although from now on, I will be ragging on Bill Apter. But yeah. So then obviously this isn't going to be the last we're going to see of Tenta and Kevin Sullivan. So and then we go into the last match, the main event, and
tells a good story. With the whole mask thing, that was pretty cool. The attacks,
the video,
the encounter on the beach with Hogan and Hogan, Jimmy Hart, and Mean Gene was like, "Yo, listen, why don't you go to him with the microphone? Why are you always bothering me for?" And like,
it's almost like small heelish.
Yes. So,
I told you my theory on Hogan.
Yeah, I know.
Hogan's been a heel his whole entire fucking career.
Oh, 100%.
The eye rakes, everything.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But I enjoyed, I liked the opening, the Butcher, Brutus Beefcake coming out, the Butcher just
with his fucking taped hands, awful ring gear. He got those bug eyes, cross eyes now.
And then all of a sudden, like he's outside the ring when Buff is introducing him, and it's just, it screams of Hogan just going. you can't blame. You try to think of it objectively. You can't blame Hogan because Hogan's probably just saying in his head, "Hey man, I can make money with Brutus. Give me Brutus."
Yeah, but he has a. But it's great when you're the main guy and you have creative control and you're telling the booking people, bring all my friends in and put them into your stories.
Yeah,
which is basically what he did.
Well, like I said, and it's funny because like the original poster for the event is a triple threat. It had Sting, Vader, and Hogan on it.
Yeah,
and it makes you wonder did Hogan, did he, all of a sudden
I was going to say that. Yeah,
did
but
he
you took my
fucking
thunder.
stroke the chew and just go, listen, brother, that don't work for me,
Thought maybe that's somebody else.
Yeah, and like, and it sucks because you look at it and you just go, all right, well maybe you shouldn't have placated too much to Hogan, but then again, if you're WCW, Sullivan, whoever's in charge of, and Bischoff, I guess Bischoff was in charge at this point. Like, how do you not cave in a little bit? Like, hey, listen, this guy's been around the block. If he's telling me he can make money with Brutus, he can make money. Now, to me, I think this is just my opinion. I think Hogan is a master politician backstage, and I don't think it's too far off to go that Hogan's just going to go, all right, Brutus, don't worry about it. I'm going to get us in the main event of Starrcade. We're going to get paid. Like, they must have got paid a decent amount of change, I'm assuming, for that night. And, it just, the match wasn't bad. Once again, you actually almost had that same Duggan Vader thing where you look at it on paper, you just go, oh, fucking hell. Brutus Beefcake against Hulk Hogan. Actually, the match really wasn't that bad. All intents and purposes to me. But I mean, it would have made more sense, if it was somebody else. Because clearly, Arn Anderson was underneath the mask one of these days. At the Clash of Champions, Arn Anderson was underneath the fucking mask.
Oh, he was in twice. He was in that under that mask,
100%. And I'm not saying Arn Anderson should have been in the main event, but you can make that leap.
Listen, it was a good story. Just if Beefcake was a better wrestler, I'd put this over. But I can't stand him at this point. Fantasy booking Hogan versus Sting in '94. Yeah, that's gonna have to wait. But that'd be cool. Sting turns heel. That'd be awesome. Heel Sting before '96 would have been fucking great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Evil fucking. You could put different face paint on him. Give him like a big cloak and dagger looking coat. But anyway, yeah. But I mean, this went 12 minutes. I can't. I don't want to shit on Beefcake the whole time, but it's like it's like I don't like it. It was terrible. The Zodiac, yes, no, yes, no.
How about Michael Buffer going? He's the king of Hulkmania, not Hulkamania. It's Hulkmania.
Yeah, well, this is Michael
Hulkmania
Buffer's.
ran wild.
This is Michael Buffer's like first
time
around it, so he didn't get all the lingo at that point.
But
I caught that too.
To me, it's nothing against Brutus. It's just like, and he said it. He Brutus more or less said it in shoot interviews. He's just like, Hogan would just played politics to get me a payday. Like, he's just, hey, I've been running with you for 10 years because they've been friends up and down the rank, from Florida all the way up to WWF.
Yeah.
Hogan's just like, hey, bro, I'm gonna just try to get you a payday, and it could have been better, but the Butcher, like give him a better, a little of this has to fall on Beefcake as well. Like, think of a better fucking gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been. I'm not saying he should have been Ed Leslie.
No, I'm just.
But think if he would have been a better gimmick. I can't think
not
of
even
one.
a better gimmick. If he was a better fucking wrestler, he wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good, but the match.
He was better when he was younger as a tag team.
The match. Oh, when he was with Valentine, I love the Dream Team, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
But the match inside of a bubble was not bad. It was a quintessential Hogan match,
and it was short, which is good.
Yeah, It was a
The
quintessential
longer
Hogan match.
the longer Hogan goes, the worse it is.
Yeah, but to me, you know, and I liked, you know, there's one thing that Hogan did that he never did at that point was that he played possum, you know, and he never did that ever in matches. He always when he hulked up from the thing, you know, from being beat on. Like he actually just played around to the crowd, and that I had in mind. You know, Kevin Sullivan on the outside, you know, there was too much Kevin Sullivan, too much Jimmy Hart at some points.
Yeah, I never liked Jimmy Hart as a face manager.
He's got to be a heel. It's got to be a heel.
I agree.
You know, but all in all, like this, the match wasn't bad. I just don't like the. Now, obviously, if it wasn't Beefcake, then who do you put there? I think Starrcade is your WrestleMania. Starrcade is your you know.
I mean, Vader
flag. It's got to be Vader.
Well, Vader went. Well, that's the thing. Vader goes and calls him out after the match in the locker room.
I get that,
and he's
part.
the U.S. champion. So that makes sense. But if Vader wasn't going to win the U.S. title, it could have been Vader. It could have been Kevin Sullivan. You know, you didn't have enough. There wasn't enough guys there at that point.
Sullivan. Listen, no disrespect to Kevin Sullivan, but Hogan at this point is not pushing a buy rate.
Macho Man just got brought in though.
Macho Man isn't going to do it either.
But who else?
Vader. It
had to be Vader.
It had to be Vader.
Okay.
You had just retired, you know, quote unquote air quotes. You just retired Ric Flair. You know, you can make the argument for Arn Anderson. I think it would be long overdue. You're just not gonna get.
Yeah, you'd have to tell a story with like Arn's getting revenge for Flair, and
yes,
it'd have to be a story where
it would, and you'd have to sell it on TV.
Yep.
I think, and I think you'd have to be in a different venue. I think Tennessee is horseman country, but I think if you would have to go to a Greenville or you know,
Charlotte,
you'd have to go to the Carolinas, maybe Florida, you know, because then you want people to boo Arn Anderson and cheer Hogan, you know. So actually, you know what? I take that back. You may not want to bring Arn Anderson to the fucking. I take that back. You don't want
they would boo Hogan.
Yeah, because it was already starting to happen. Not here, but you know, you can make the case for Arn Anderson. But it had to be Vader, and to me, that's what's going to tip the needle, and I think that's what it should have been. And you know, all of a sudden, then you know, at the end, Hogan gets the big leg drop. You know, the Faces of Fear comes out, he holds him out. All of a sudden, he has a chair in his hand, and Macho Man makes the run out. Now, once again, that's what I mean. The crowd isn't supposed to know that Macho Man's there. If you tip your hand a little bit and show that Macho Man is there, now you want Macho Man to come out,
right,
to make the save for Hulk Hogan. That's where I was going with that.
Sure.
And then I do like the fact that, you know, Macho Man's like, it just went on for too fucking long. Like, nah, brother, it's me. You know, he's shaking Tenta's hand, he's shaking Beefcake's hand, you know, and then he finally attacks you know, Kevin Sullivan. And can we talk about Hogan's the worst fucking chair shots ever in history?
Oh, because he doesn't put any. He just taps. Hogan's been doing that for years, though. That's a Hogan thing.
You know.
That's you can do a whole actually podcast about his.
But then
extracurricular activity.
But then they knock the heels down, and you know, and then they pose it in the ring. Mega Powers reunite. Like that makes perfect sense. I don't think you changed that. I don't, you know, to me, but you know, all in all, it wasn't a bad main event, but it's just it just screams of Hogan politics and, you know, getting your best friend in
because of what you know now.
Yes.
When you were 10, you didn't know that, you know.
No, listen. It told the right story.
Oh yeah, no,
it told the right story.
It's just the wrong guy.
It's just the wrong guy.
Of course, I understand.
It's just the wrong guy.
All right. Well, that's Starrcade '94. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible.
I actually enjoyed the event.
It wasn't bad. I mean,
I actually enjoyed it
for '94. I mean,
I would give it a B plus.
I give it maybe a B minus, a C. Only because I mean, again, solid matches though. I mean, between
but it's just like my thing is now you're what are you trying to do? I obviously, the higher ups, Bischoff and whoever, like now obviously all this WWF talent is coming to WCW. I don't think the narrative fits, whereas like, oh, they're shopping to get
once Eric Bischoff had his spot, not my spot, your spot, not dog spot, not Oliver spot. Once Eric Bischoff had his spot lamented, he started getting the bankroll. So I mean, at this point, it's just
I think guys would hear about the paydays and then they would go.
Guaranteed contracts. And like I was watching the Razor Ramon documentary today, and Vince was like, "Listen, these guys didn't want to leave. I wasn't offering guaranteed contracts. They were
allegedly."
Allegedly,
I heard Jim Ross saying about when Mean Gene's contract ran up in WWF, Vince was talking to JR about it and saying, "Oh, we're not going to sign him, but we're going to try to get him some good money at WCW." Like, and it's just like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah. No, we're going to tell them that we want, we want them to think that they're stealing us. Like, and I wonder if he did that for somebody else, not Bobby Heenan, because I think Heenan left on his own volition, but like, Earthquake, I don't think he would probably get big money from WCW. He probably got decent change.
I get your point, but at this point, and then you have to understand something. 95 is when they get the live TV.
Yep.
And at that point, Eric Bischoff is the executive producer, and they already have Savage there. They're bringing guys in from New Japan.
Yep.
They brought Luger in back. They brought him back. So it was like again another transition. So this was a weird time for WCW because it was again they're 3 years into the Turner money, and then from between now and '96 is when the floodgates open.
Yeah.
And the real war begins.
I think that's what whoever had the idea, whether albeit if it was Hogan or whatever, you had to you got to do something different. You got to do something different. And 96 was something different. 94, 95, it's the same old shit. Same old situation.
Right.
Excuse me, because because you got and you got a bunch of Hogan's friends coming in. The stuff in 95 wasn't that bad with the Dungeon of Doom. I actually kind of like the Dungeon of Doom
but
stuff.
you have to understand something. By the time 95 came along, Ted Turner was like, okay, we have Hogan. Now what? How do we compete? We're in the wrestling business. Well, give me a fucking TV show every Monday night. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, this is all money being pushed from Turner. It was Hogan, Savage, floodgates open.
Yeah.
So 95 was more of Hogan. And then all of a sudden, Vince picks up a little more speed. And then all of a sudden, Hogan's stale again.
Yeah.
Hogan, I'm not again. Hogan's now stale.
The crowd's already
turning because they're a year into ECW and they're a year into they're seeing all the shit in Japan. The internet is getting big now, so it's like there's more eyes on everything and there's more stuff. Kayfabe is basically almost out the window at this point.
Yeah,
it's a weird. It's a deal. So, but that's in a whole other podcast we have to fucking get into. But yeah, no, it was. I mean,
I liked it. I liked the show. Yeah,
fun. All right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Jay's gotta go to work. I'm going to bed soon. Start my weekend. You guys don't know the social media handles. Buy a t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees, patreon.com/Turnbuckle Throwbacks. And I think that's it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Choppy, hope we'll be back for the holiday party next week. Gonna have a holiday shindig. We're gonna drink some fucking spiked eggnog.
Yeah.
talk some Starcade 1990. Hopefully, have some guests on. And I think that might be our last show of the year. We might get a Philatorio, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is fun.
Yep.
And we'll see you
absolutely.
guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.